We welcome you back to the ShakeBack Sports Show right here on the Big Aim Christian Sports Network. It's your boy Willie Epting Jr. holding it down, excited for baseball season and all the like. Man, I'm so excited right now. I am about to bust my pants wide open from the laughter that is occurring in the world of sports. When you think about everything that's going on with the March Madness, and we're going to talk about that probably in the third segment. When you talk about everything that's going on in the world, we're going to get to that here in just a moment. And in the second, or rather in the first segment, yes, we did talk a little free agent frenzy. The hashtag Brothers of Baseball were in the building, as well as the Tokyo series has come and gone. And if the Los Angeles Dodgers decided to move all of their home games to Tokyo, I don't think it would be a problem for one Shohei Ohtani, because he always goes over there and puts on a show. All right, thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook through the media page, through the BGC Sports Network page, through my personal page, and of course, LinkedIn, BGC Sports Network, through YouTube, Instagram TV. I see you guys out there watching. We welcome your requests or your comments, because we're about to get into some stuff here in a minute. That is going to be a little uncomfortable, but it is what it is, and it has to be spoken about. And of course, everybody out there watching on Twitter, we of course thank you for that. I don't call it X, nor will I ever call it X. It will always be Twitter to me. So, Mr. Musk, I have freedom of speech, and if you don't like it, tough to petunias. All right, just in case you missed it, I'm sorry, we already said that. Let's continue on in the show. This second segment, it is being brought to you by us. Who is us? Well, we are us. What do? Well, I'll tell you what we do. I'll tell you what we are right now. We are showing you guys that we are just more than a sports station. That's right. My BGC merch is now available. Your chance to support the BG Sports Network is finally here, or your continued support, rather. Introducing the My BGC merch store, where you can purchase authentic BGC merch like our BGC coffee mugs, the overhyped, unofficial, slightly censored Turkey Den t-shirt, the BGC Sports desk mat, and so much more. Just go to my BGC merch page at the top of BGCsports.net and place your order today. Like right now. My BGC merch, it is waiting for you. All right, just let's go ahead and get into this, because it is something that we have never seen before in most of our lifetimes. And I'm talking about the Gen Zers, the Gen X, and the millennials. Yeah, you guys are a little bit on the fringe of things, but I'm talking about those of us that were born in the 70s, from like the early 70s into the late 70s, maybe into the early 80s. And I, of course, am talking about the United States and our government and what we are seeing play out right in front of our eyes. I personally don't know exactly where to begin. My heart is going to have to be the thing that's going to guide me through this segment. And I'm going to have to be careful as to how I say the things that I'm going to say without the attempt, or without the intent, rather, of offending anybody, because I don't want to do that. Only thing that I am doing is trying to give a perspective. Some of you that know me, most of you that have known me for a while, and for a great percentage of you, The ones that have known me a good part or a good portion or a majority portion of my life. We went to school together. We played ball together. We drank beers together. I mean, you name it. We've done all those things together. But now the America that was then is not the same America that it is today. And you know what? I could very well be wrong in the fact that I'm saying that because of the fact that children innocence or adolescent innocence or teenage almost innocence is different from being wise and being turned on to things and being exposed to things as you get older in life. So here we go. The mandate from this particular presidential administration has I don't even know if I have the words for it. So let me just start with this because most of the people that I am talking about, we all went to public school together. Most of us, or some of us, went to college together. But guess what? The majority of us that went to college did rely on some sort of financial aid. Now, with the Department of Education being dismantled right in front of our eyes, I got a problem with it. And I got a problem with people who are supporting the dismantling of the Department of Education. Notice what I said. The Department of Education. I have a problem with the dismantling of it. I am all for finding fraud. I am all for looking for the waste. I am all for figuring out ways in which our dollars can be spent more efficiently, but I am not for the Department of Education, the very department that many of us listening, watching, whatever, have benefited from or been a product of. And I have a problem with people that continue to support something that they themselves are a product of. To me, that is a little hypocritical. But I digress. But it's not just that. It's people like me that came from a low-income household that really continue to rely on FAFSAs and financial aid and grants to go to school. Yes, I was in the military, but it didn't always cover everything. There was always something that needed to be paid for outside of what my benefits entitled me to. So again, we're not talking about just Ouachita Parish High School or Skyline High School in Dallas or Skyline High School in Oakland, California. We're not just talking about that. We're talking about kids that have special needs. We're talking about kids that need to have they need to have or be able to have access to free lunch. And I'm not talking about just high school, all the way down to the pre-K levels, all the way down to Head Start. So if you are supporting the initiative of dismantling the entire department without a ways and a means to really track the spending and find out where the fraud is, I got a problem with you, especially if you are a product of that system. Understand what I am saying, ladies and gentlemen. I am all for finding the fraud. I don't want our money, and when I say ours, I mean all of us in America, that even those that are undocumented that pay taxes as well. I do not want our money to be wasteful when you're spending $19,000 for a hammer and $30,000 for a toilet seat. I'm not for that. But there's, in my opinion, a better way in which the government is doing this without really displacing millions of not only students, but now you talk about teachers, you talk about cafeteria workers, you talk about principals, you talk about janitors, you talk about the students. All of those things are going to be affected. But what really makes my jaws tight, ladies and gentlemen, is the special needs and the students that don't learn or that may have learning trouble learning, the students that have dyslexia, though the learning disabilities. That's who I am having a problem with. And I don't care what y'all say. I'm talking about people in general, and that includes myself. I don't care what we say. That is wrong. It is completely and utterly wrong. And what I find so reprehensible about this is that there are so many people that are dependent upon the Department of Education that actually voted for this administration. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, again, I am not saying that I am not for finding the fraud and weeding it out and getting rid of it. But here's my question. How is it that we can trust an administration that is head and led by the person that is now the president of the United States of America? How in the world is it that we can really trust this individual and all of the people that report to him that he is really in the business of finding fraud when he himself has been convicted of fraud at proportions of multi-millions of dollars? And it is the biggest hypocritical action that I have ever seen anybody that's in leadership, let alone in public service ever do. And then when you look at this department that was created, and you got to realize something, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just some fly-by-night area of the government. This is an area of the government that was enacted by Congress. Congress enacted it. Congress should be the one should be the only authoritative figure that can dismantle it, not the president. And when you talk about the president of the United States, he has said himself that he is going to be the one and the only one to interpret what the law is in the United States. The last time I checked, there were 3 equal branches of power in our government. There's the executive branch, there's the judicial branch, and there is, of course, the legislative branch. Now, if you look at it from the surface standpoint, yes, we know that the Republicans hold the majority in all phases of those government or all of those governmental departments or whatever. So it seems to me that the game of chess when it comes to people's lives has been implemented so long ago that a lot of us are just now catching up. And then on top of that, some of us still haven't caught up. You know why? Because Donald Trump just signed a executive order basically saying that segregation is okay. So my question to you guys is, especially the Blacks for Trump. So my question for the Blacks for Trump is this what you voted for? I can understand being a conservative African American. I can dig that. I mean, I believe in some conservative principles myself. However, is this what you voted for? Is this what you voted for by the state saying, you know what? You can't use the same bathroom as your brother or your sister that's a lighter shade of color than you are? Is that what y'all voted for? Let me ask you another question. Did you vote for a man who is obviously trying to be an authoritative figure and trying to, I shouldn't say try, he's actually done it, has defied court orders when it comes to several departments within the government? Is that what y'all voted for? I get it. What you voted for was a better economy. And the economy is trash right now. What you voted for was the Ukraine and the Russia war to be stopped within 24 hours. Well, that didn't happen. What you voted for was the price of your groceries and your eggs going down. Well, that hasn't happened. What you voted for was for the lower price of gas. Well, I tell you this right now. On Thursday, I went to get some gas, and gas was $2.40 a gallon. Later on in the day, it had risen to $2.78. That ain't what you voted for, is it? Did you vote for a system that will take your hard-earned Social Security dollars away that you have worked your entire life putting into, and now they want to gut that? Is that what you voted for? Again, I understand the ridding of the fraud. I understand the getting rid of the waste, but they're not telling the entire truth. And if you're not telling the entire truth, you're lying by saying things like there's 3 million dead people that are continuing to collect Social Security checks. That's not true. And even if it was true, those of us that are approaching that age, I call it the December months of our life. Those of us that have put in, and you don't have a choice. Social Security comes out automatically. It ain't like it is with income tax when you can select your deductions or whatever. Social Security is a mandate that you have no choice on whether or not it comes out of your check or not. So for those of us that are getting closer to that age in which we have paid this money into 30, 40, 50 years, did you vote for the fact, or did you vote for the event that's going to rob you of everything that you have put in? And they make it seem so they make, when they talk about it, they make it seem so convincing, as though we are the ones that perpetrated these acts. No, it's not us. And I had a talk, and I got about a minute left to go in the segment. I had a talk with Big Day on Friday, and we were talking about the mandate to clean up the government, which I'm all for. Again, clean up the government. But let me ask you this before we get out of here for this first segment. Everybody that didn't vote, and then everybody that voted for Donald Trump, let me ask you a question. Is Donald Trump, I'm all for cleaning up the government, but the person or the people that are in charge of doing just that, are they doing it for personal gain, or are they doing it to operate in what their constituents said they wanted? And I don't know about y'all, but everything that points to it shows to me that this dude is doing this for personal gain, as is a lot of his cronies. And when you talk about up to and including the fact that they turned the White House lawn into a car dealership, that's the problem. Come on back on the other side of the break, man. We are done with this part of the show. We're going to get into some NBA and a little March Madness. Willie Epting Jr., ShakeBack Sports Show. Y'all come back and holler at us.